you know, the thing that we all know, and one of the things that we all know, especially for those in public service, is that, you know, there's the my backyard syndrome, and, you know, some of the consolidation talk certainly sounds good, but some folks may be concerned that, you know, if you're going to share a ladder truck with the city of Elyria, that the ladder truck may be over in Elyria when you need it in North Ridgeville. But you know, that's also the reason why you have mutual aid between communities, so when those events happen, everybody can pitch in and help out. Obviously, trying to do more cooperative purchasing can be helpful as well. But that is still being worked out in Columbus, but I can tell you that there is certainly a lot of talk, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, about trying to find more ways for more efficiencies in government. And the reality, when you look at, you know, what is happening especially in the neighboring community of Elyria there, that, you know, everybody is facing the reality that this country is going through a big economic change. There was a, you know, period of time when we were an agricultural culture, and then we had the industrial age, and then we've been going through the transition of service and technology, and so times are changing. And there's no question, you've never heard an argument from me that you know, that government is efficient, because it's not, and we can always find better ways to be more efficient. But the reality is, as somebody who recently worked for the city of Elyria a couple years ago, I can tell you that at the local level, they're getting as much out of their people as you can possibly get. So, but that's kind of an overview as to what's being talked about. As far as other legislation that's being discussed, there's some legislation we have an impact at the local level. That's regarding foreclosure, home foreclosure. Obviously, there was some announcement that came from the federal level the other day. There's concern that maybe we're moving too quickly on forcing people out of their homes. Obviously, the other side of the argument is some folks don't pay, they should go. But there are some folks who end up in that position because of jobs or medical bills, whatever it may be. Renters Protection Act, a lot of people, unfortunately, are renters these days, but I actually spoke with a woman who lives on the east side of Cleveland who rented a property. 3 months later, there was a knock on the door, said, "I'm the new owner, you need to leave." She left the property, went to another property, signed a lease, unaware that the property was already 2 months into the foreclosure process when she signed the lease. So, and a few months later, there was another knock on the door, and she lost the property again. But I haven't seen the latest foreclosure numbers in North Ridgeville itself, but I do know that certainly here in northern Ohio it is a problem. Now we're doing some things around, but this would not impact you here, some things around the film tax credit, trying to bring the film industry, you know, into Ohio. And it looks like basically for every dollar that they would spend, they would receive about 25 cents back, is the way that would work. But I know everybody made a big fuss about it with Gran Torino. They were trying to help Michigan, and they thought it was great for Detroit to have them come in and working on that film there. But, you know, even when we provide those kind of incentives, I'm a real stickler about wanting to make sure that we get a good return on the dollar if we're going to give the break and believe on a return on our investment. Education, in you know, with the city of North Ridgeville, I think this community's quite blessed in that, you know, we do have a strong school system here. And I think, you know, if we were sitting in this room and we did not have a strong school system, we would certainly have an uphill battle, if not a greater uphill battle. You know, a strong school system is always important. Having close access to the turnpike and 480 and, you know, 90, being close enough so that you can get to where you need to go, I think that's obviously very helpful as well too. But schools, without any doubt, the schools have to be strong for the community to really be attractive for anyone to come here. It was interesting. We had the former Speaker of the Colorado House come and speak to our caucus in Columbus. And Colorado actually has some of the lowest, if not the lowest, business taxes you're going to find anywhere. And I was asking the speaker, the former Speaker of the House, if that was, because with that being the case, you should just be busting at the seams with everybody knocking down the door to get in. And they said that that wasn't necessarily happening, and you would think that that would happen. But the reason that it wasn't happening was that they were still operating under a tax expenditure limitation initiative that made it very difficult for them to provide additional dollars beyond basically 3% a year to be able to grow their schools. And that's why you would see the stories about, the schools having to buy a lot of their own stuff and the teachers buy their own things. But the bottom line was they said, we have problems getting businesses to come to the state of Colorado, even though we probably have the lowest taxes and the best tax programming available, all because our schools are ranked 48th, I think, in the nation. So we're fortunate to have that here. And I did want to add that I have a very good working rapport with the mayor, and I tell this story not to embarrass him, but even when we were working on trying to bring the dollars for the old town hall, I called the mayor. I had some specific questions. I was in Columbus, and we were still trying to work out bringing some of those dollars back in. And the mayor answered his phone right away, and he said, well, just hang on for a minute, Matt. He said, I'm trying on a new pair of pants right now. So so your mayor's on the job all the time. But that's kind of an overview. And, as somebody who used to be an Avon Lake City Councilman and went through a big growth spurt in Avon Lake at the time, the important thing is always sensible growth, trying to figure out what you want your community to look like in 10 or 20 years. And that's a very important commitment to make and to stick by it. But I think that, this community, because of the location, because of the schools, because of the quality of life, because of the cost of homes, my colleagues are blown away in Columbus when I tell them there was over 250 new housing starts in this city last year alone. It just blows people away in this economy. So if this was not a good community, that wouldn't be happening. And I think the biggest thing in most communities is, the naysayers. And there's so many people who are quick to be critical, but very rarely can they come up with some good solutions. So, but I think we're quite fortunate here that we are on the right path, and that the schools keep us strong, our location keeps us strong, and our quality of life and home affordability, all those things make us very desirable for business. And I see my time is up.
Is there any questions for Representative Lundy?
I had a quick question, Matt.
Sure.
You mentioned the projection of 10% unemployment. Is that statewide?
Yeah, that would be statewide.
Is that projected to be the bottom?
I don't know if anybody can project when the bottom's going to end. Most economists are saying that they think by June of next year is hopefully when things will start to at least level up and come back up. Well, I appreciate your time, and everybody knows I do these monthly town hall meetings. We're going to have one coming up, I think, in the next 2 months here in North Ridgeville.